Alright, and at number 10 we have Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart did the unthinkable after winning her 2009 MTV Movie Award. She dropped and broke it. Kristen had won the award for Best Female Performance, and after she gave her speech, she went to walk off and dropped the award. Apparently the drop actually wasn't that big of a deal because recipients don't take the award home with them, it gets engraved and then shipped to them later. But a rep with the award said that when Kristen received her brand new award, she was actually disappointed because they didn't give her the one that broke. Kristen's mother even called to try and get the broken award tracked down, but they never did. All in all, fans weren't too shocked because Bella would have done the exact same thing. Bella Swan, that is. And at number 9, Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie had everyone in shock when she kissed her brother multiple times at the Oscars. And when I say kiss, I mean kiss on the lips. Her brother James Haven was her date at the Oscars that night, and they had kissed many times on the red carpet. Then Angelina won an award for her role in Girl Interrupted and made an interesting comment about her brother during her speech, saying, quote, "I'm in shock and I'm so in love with my brother right now. He just held me and said he loved me, and I know he's so happy for me, and thank you for that." Kinda strange thing to say in an acceptance speech, but okay. After the moment became condemned online, Jolie clarified that her parents loved seeing them kiss, adding, quote, "It wasn't some odd open-mouthed kiss. It was disappointing that something so beautiful and pure could be turned into a circus." You guys let me know your thoughts on this one below. I'm sure it's very controversial. And at number 8, Britney Spears, Madonna, and Christina Aguilera. One of the most iconic moments that ever took place at an award show was the kiss between Madonna and Britney Spears in 2003. A lot of people don't actually know that after the Britney kiss, Madonna then kissed Christina Aguilera as well, although that kiss was barely caught on camera. Apparently fans thought Britney found the kiss between Madonna and Christina a little awkward because she didn't expect it, but it was all so fast that I doubt anyone even noticed. This moment has went down in history for being very controversial, but over the years people started to care way less about the scandalous kiss. And at number 7, John Travolta. When you're presenting an award at an award show, immense pressure is on the presenter to get everything right. One thing that might be a given is to get the nominees' names right. But for whatever reason, John Travolta was not prepped on how to say Idina Menzel's name and totally butchered it. While introducing Menzel for a performance at the 2014 Oscars, Travolta welcomed, quote, "the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem." Interestingly enough, the blunder significantly raised awareness of Menzel, and she commented, quote, "It's definitely one of those welcome happy mistakes that changed my life," she told the New York Post. She joked that the name caught her off guard for a few seconds, but she still powered through her performance anyway. And at number 6, Katherine Heigl. Back in 2010, Katherine Heigl suffered a serious wardrobe malfunction in the middle of her acceptance speech. Katherine won the award for Female Star of the Year at the Show West convention, and as she was going up on stage, one strap of her dress just snapped, and she was left holding it in place while she tried to give her speech, so she wouldn't flash everyone at the show. Thankfully, the host of the event, Billy Bush, stepped in to help and grabbed the back of her strap so she could get a few words in without holding herself together. After the speech, she went backstage and found a pin to secure things in place and looked perfect in the photo showing off her award. Thankfully, disaster was avoided here. Halfway at number 5, Marissa Tomei. Before we had the infamous Moonlight La La Land mix-up, there was a popular conspiracy theory going around claiming that Marissa Tomei did not actually win her 1993 Oscar. Rather, the presenter messed up and everyone just went along with it. The reason everyone thought there was a conspiracy was because Tomei was the underdog and wasn't the favorite to win. She was actually the least expected because all the actresses in her category were much more experienced than her. The biggest reason this gained traction was the day after the show, The Hollywood Reporter printed a blind item about rumors flying in Manhattan that she hadn't really won. They claimed that the presenter, Jack Palance, was too intoxicated to read it right, so he just read the last name as the winner. It was such a big rumor the Academy had to deny it many times. After the La La Land mix-up, we know if she really didn't win, someone would have made it right. And at number 4, Ian Somerhalder. This incident seemed super shady at first, but once you watch the clip over, it seems more like a misunderstanding. During the 2014 Teen Choice Awards, Ariana Grande won an award and ran up on stage to get her surfboard. Ian Somerhalder was the person that was giving her the award, and as she ran up on stage, it looked like Ian was attempting to kiss her on the lips, so Ariana decided to swerve and give him a cheek kiss instead. head. After the mishap, many felt the whole incident was kinda shady, but after looking at the clip a few times, I think Ian was just going for one side of the cheek, and Ariana was so confused so she offered up her other cheek, making it look a lot more shady than it actually was, but the infamous moment is still memed to this day. And at number 3, Nicole Kidman. One of the things people love to do most is mock anything strange that they see celebrities do at award shows. The strangest thing that's ever been seen is Nicole Kidman clapping. During the 2017 Oscars, after Meryl Streep won an award, the whole audience was clapping. But when the camera turned to show Kidman, her clapping was very strange. Her hands were stretched out and she was only clapping with the palms of her hands, but not her fingers, kinda like this. Because of the angle, her hands also looked insanely long, somewhat reptilian-like. After the meme blew up, she explained that she was loaned some expensive jewelry and didn't want to scratch it by clapping, adding, quote, "I was like, gosh, I want to clap, I don't want to not be clapping, which would be worse, right? Why isn't Nicole Kidman clapping?" And at number 2, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj had everyone on edge when she took the time during a 2015 VMA acceptance speech to call out the host Miley Cyrus. The call out was because Miley made some negative comments about her in the press. While accepting her award for Best Hip Hop Video, Nicki Minaj finished off saying, quote, "And now back to this bee that had a lot to say about me in the press the other day. Miley, what's good?" Miley handled it very well and quickly congratulated Nicki on the win and said the media twisted her words. Miley's original comments were relating to Nicki's feud with Taylor Swift. In that interview, Miley called out Nicki for not being very nice, which I guess she kinda proved at the award show. And finally, number 1, Michael Moore. Michael Moore is best known for his controversial documentaries. He actually won an award for one of those documentaries, Bowling for Columbine, at the 2003 Oscars. And many weren't surprised when he took his opportunity on stage to make a political statement. He said, quote, "We live in fictitious times where we have fictitious election results that elects a fictitious president," he said of then President George W. Bush, even bashing Bush for sending the country to war for, quote, "fictitious reasons." And even though you'd expect a liberal crowd like the attendees at the Oscars to eat up his anti-conservative message, they actually booed him off stage. Many think this reaction was because 9/11 recently happened before that, and the country was united against their common enemy. Starting off this countdown, we have Paris Hilton. In 2008, Paris Hilton was banned from attending the Oscars. She thought her 1.1 rating film The Hottie and the Naughty was big enough to land her a seat at the award show. Sadly, it wasn't. According to a source, and I quote, "Paris cried hot, salty tears when she was banned from the Oscars. She's desperate to be taken seriously as an actress and hoped she would be able to network with film executives." Another source revealed that Paris and a number of other women were banned from the Oscars to prevent the evening from turning into, and I quote, "down-market scrum." Not scum, scrum. That's insane. But don't feel too bad for Paris, she still managed to sneak into the after parties. Coming in at number 9, we have Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson was another woman banned from the Oscars in an attempt to keep it more classy. The same source as I previously mentioned said Pamela Anderson was another woman they banned to prevent the evening turning into down-market scrum. Frankly, they are scrum for doing this. The source continued on saying, and I quote, "They plan to focus on those people who have worked in the film industry for years, not people who are merely celebrities in other areas." In our 8th spot, we have Morgan Wallen. American country music singer Morgan Wallen was banned from the 2021 Billboard Music Awards after a leaked video surfaced showing him using a racial slur. He was banned despite receiving 6 nominations that year. The award show announced that they were banning Morgan, and I quote, "As his conduct does not align with our core values, we will not be including him on the show in any capacity." This isn't the first time he got banned from an award show though. On February 3rd, the Academy of Country Music announced that he was not going to participate in the 56th annual award show. They said, and I quote, "The Academy does not condone or support intolerance or behavior that doesn't align with our commitment and dedication to diversity and inclusion." So it looks like Morgan is banned from a couple of award shows, and who knows if he'll ever be invited back. In our 7th spot, we have Miley Cyrus. I don't know if you noticed, but Miley Cyrus was missing from the 2020 Grammy Awards. Now, some artists chose to skip the show for their own personal reasons, but it seems like Miley just wasn't invited. On Instagram, Cyrus posted a throwback clip of her performance from the 2013 MTV EMAs. She captioned the video, "And we wonder why I'm not invited to award shows anymore." In the video, we see Cyrus light up a joint on stage and take a couple of drags. Could this be why award shows aren't
inviting her because of her past award show behavior? Seems like it. Miley's celebrity friends were quick to like her video and post encouraging comments like, "Don't ever change," and "I'd invite you first, TBH." Honestly, Miley's just a good time. Like, let's start a petition to get her unbanned. In our 6th spot, we have Kevin Hart. Back in 2019, Kevin Hart was scheduled to be the host for the 2019 Academy Awards. However, old homophobic tweets of his from 2009 and 2011 resurfaced online, and he was immediately blasted. Just to give you an idea of how controversial his tweets were, one of them from 2011 said, and I quote, "Yo, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice, 'Stop, that's gay.'" To make matters worse, Hart even did stand-up routines talking about how he was scared that his son was going to be gay. Now, instead of apologizing and attempting to keep his role as the host, Kevin voluntarily stepped down and said he will not apologize for his past tweets. He said he's done apologizing for them. He said, and I quote, "There's no more conversation about it. I'm over that. I'm over the moment. I'm not giving no more explanation of who I am. I'm just done." I don't think Hart will be getting an invite in the future, but who knows. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Bill Cosby. In 2018, Bill Cosby was unwelcome at the Emmys. The Academy said that they are erasing his name from the Emmys website and removing his bust display. Now, they didn't say he was officially banned from the show, they just said that he's not welcome there, which basically means you're not invited. Don't come, don't show up, we don't want you here. This is due to the fact that Bill Cosby has taken advantage of a number of women throughout the years. In our 4th spot today, we have Tekashi 6ix9ine. In 2018, Nicki Minaj was invited to perform at the MTV VMAs. She was invited to sing her song Fifi, which was originally a Tekashi 6ix9ine song featuring Nicki Minaj, but later turned into a Nicki song featuring Tekashi 6ix9ine. But Nicki Minaj didn't want to perform the song without him, so she tried her best to swing it so that he attends the MTV VMAs with her. But sadly, he never got approved by the officials. Nicki ended up revealing on one episode of Queen Radio that, and I quote, "I don't want anyone to think for a second that I wouldn't invite him to perform his hit record. I want everyone to know my character. I wanted him to perform with me at the VMAs, and somewhere along the line he didn't get approved to perform by the powers that be." In our 3rd spot, we have Ricky Gervais. If you watched the 2020 Golden Globes, then you know exactly why Ricky is on today's list. He took the opportunity as the host to make jokes about Hollywood. He called a number of people perverts and joked about serious scandals and issues in the industry. A lot of attendees were left completely shocked by his speech. And I guess so were the officials behind the Oscars. When it was time for the 93rd Academy Awards, Ricky was not invited. He poked fun at this by tweeting his speech from the Golden Globes and captioning it, "It's the Oscars tonight. I wasn't invited. Was this something I said?" Coming in at number 2, we have Marilyn Manson. Now, this one isn't that shocking considering that the Antichrist superstar has done some pretty controversial things over the years. You know, like taking a broken beer bottle and cutting himself open on stage with it, or urinating on the crowd. That alone is why he doesn't get invited to award shows. But just recently, 5 women came forward saying Marilyn was abusive towards them. One of the women was his former partner, Evan Rachel Wood. Due to these allegations, his guest star appearances in a number of shows have been removed, like American Gods and Creepshow. So if they're removing his scenes in shows, there's no way they're inviting him to any award shows. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Kevin Spacey. Back in 2017, actor Anthony Rapp claimed that when he was 14, Spacey made a sexual advancement towards him. This empowered other victims to come forward. Over the years, a number of men have come forward claiming that Kevin Spacey tried to make advancements on them or that he has taken advantage of them. Kevin Spacey is now blacklisted from Hollywood and will not be attending any award shows anytime soon.
And at number 10, Oscars mix-up. This has gone down as one of the worst flubs in history because the most coveted Oscar of the night was temporarily given to the wrong movie. In 2017, La La Land and Moonlight were neck and neck for the Best Picture award. After some pausing and confusion, the presenters Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty ended up giving the award to the wrong movie, La La Land. The entire cast and crew of the movie came up on stage and even started giving their speeches until someone on the PricewaterhouseCoopers team stepped in and told them that they didn't actually win. Then La La Land producer Jordan Horowitz humbly yelled, quote, "Moonlight, you guys won," into the mic. Everyone watching was thoroughly confused for a few minutes until Warren Beatty came back on the stage and revealed that he got the wrong card, and that's why he paused. And at number 9, Rashida Jones. This one is incredibly uncomfortable and a little hard to watch, but thankfully Rashida took things like a champ. While Rashida was walking the red carpet during the 2015 Screen Actors Guild Awards, she was doing quick interviews with tons of media outlets. During one interview with TNT, Rashida was happily talking about her gorgeous gown and who made the stunning piece. But then things got cringy when the interviewer asked Rashida about her tan, saying that the actress looked like she just came back from a tropical vacation and had a beautiful glow. Obviously, this reporter didn't know that Rashida was biracial, being half black and half white, and her tan was actually just her skin color. So Rashida replied, quote, "You know, I'm ethnic," to which the reporter tried to laugh it off. And at number 8, Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman raised eyebrows when she called out the Golden Globes on the nominees for the Best Picture award. After Oprah gave a legendary speech about injustice and equality at the 2018 Golden Globes, it seems that Natalie Portman was inspired to call out injustice. While presenting the award for the Best Picture category, Natalie said, quote, "And here are the all-male nominees." Even though it was subtle, one word made all the difference to get the point across. Her co-presenter laughed it off awkwardly. Even more awkward were the faces of the directors while their names were being listed off, but you could see some celebrities in the back happy that Natalie made that statement. And at number 7, Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon took some major shots at the Kardashian clan, specifically Kim, while she was accepting an MTV Movie Award in 2011. During her speech, Reese took the time to bash some of her Hollywood counterparts. She told young girls watching that it's possible to make it in Hollywood without a reality show. And if you weren't sure exactly who she was talking about, Reese piled the hate on thicker and added that back in the day an explicit tape would have been something to be embarrassed about, but now it's something that helps women rise to fame. Basically saying that you can be a good girl and still make it in the business. TMZ actually caught up with Kim and asked her about Reese's speech, to which Kim replied that she loves Reese, clearly taking the high road. And at number 6, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. The whole world fell in love with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper when they were starring in the movie A Star Is Born. The best part was that Gaga was not even a seasoned actress, so it made everyone think the on-screen chemistry between them was more than just acting. The rumors about these two got even crazier when the pair performed a ballad from the movie at the 2019 Oscars, and the chemistry between these two was hard to deny. Lady Gaga had also recently broke up with her fiance, Christian Carino, around this time, leading many to think it was because of jealousy. And then during their performance, Bradley's longtime girlfriend Irina Shayk was sitting in the audience, which made things even more awkward, especially since Irina and Bradley split shortly after this. Halfway number 5, Kanye West. There's no way I could make this list without including the infamous incident where Kanye interrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance speech. At the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards, Taylor snagged the award for Best Female Video for the song You Belong With Me. Beyoncé was also up for the award for her music video Single Ladies. After Taylor won, Kanye West didn't feel the win was well deserved, so he came up on stage and told the world that Beyoncé had one of the best music videos of all time. The crazy interruption would go down in history for all the wrong reasons, and the now infamous line, quote, "Taylor, I'ma let you finish," will be memed till the end of time. Taylor spoke about the incident after the fact, saying, quote, "I was standing on stage and I was really excited, then I wasn't excited anymore after that." And at number 4, Steve Harvey. While Steve Harvey was presenting the awards at the Miss Universe pageant, he made a terrible mistake. In 2015, the show was going along very well, and Steve was going to present the winner of the pageant. It was between Colombia and the Philippines, and instead of saying the first runner-up, which is customary for those award shows, Steve went straight to the winner, announcing Colombia had won, when in reality, Colombia was actually just the first runner-up in the competition. After Miss Colombia was given the crown and the sash, and a few moments to soak in the glory, Harvey came back to stage to reveal a terrible mistake. All he had to say was that Colombia was the first runner-up, and it was clear to everyone Miss Philippines was the real winner, and the rest of the show was so awkward it was honestly hard to watch. And at number 3, Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is beloved for her hilarious and quirky personality, and even though she's one of the highest paid actresses in Hollywood, she's still one of the most klutzy celebrities ever. She cemented this in the eyes of the world when she tripped while walking up to the stage to accept her Oscar for Best Actress in 2013. After she got up to the stage, the crowd gave her a standing ovation, and she said, quote, "You guys are just standing cause you feel bad that I fell, and that's really embarrassing." And this is not the only time that J-Law has fell. She actually fell at the Oscars again while on the red carpet a few years later, leading some to speculate her klutziness could just be all an act for press. And at number 2, the 1974 Oscars Streaker. This one is a little less known, but since most award shows are live broadcasts, it's understandable that some people might try to take advantage. image. That's exactly what happened at the 1974 Oscars when a man decided to run naked through the broadcast. The man even flashed a peace sign while he ran past the presenter, David Niven. Niven hardly seemed fazed and responded by saying, quote, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was almost bound to happen, but isn't it fascinating to think that probably the only laugh that man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings." That's probably the shadiest thing that I have ever heard. I can almost guarantee the streaker regretted it after that. And finally, number 1, James Franco and Anne Hathaway. Scandal probably isn't the right word for what I'm about to talk about. Trainwreck is probably more fitting. James Franco's acting career has taken a hit for many reasons, but his hosting career was over just as fast as it started after he hosted the Oscars with Anne Hathaway. If you don't already know about this legendary night, James Franco and Anne Hathaway hosted the 2011 awards, but it was universally regarded as a disaster. The main reason for the train wreck was James Franco, because he looked half asleep the whole time, like he didn't want to be there, which forced Anne to overcompensate with her delivery. I think it's safe to say that Franco is the one that made it hard to watch, while Anne was just trying to keep things afloat. After this, the Oscars never did co-hosting again. Wonder why.
In spot number 10, we have Lady Gaga. The world will never forget the time that she showed up to the MTV VMA Awards wearing a meat dress. Yes, a dress, shoes, and a hat made out of real raw meat. She faced a ton of criticism for her wardrobe choice, as many people, especially vegetarians and vegans, felt disrespected. Gaga talked about it after and explained that the meat dress was tied to her protest against the military's "don't ask, don't tell" policy, and was meant to be a statement against the government restrictions placed on the rights of gay soldiers. She ensured that it was not meant to disrespect anyone fighting for animal rights. It was not the first time she's done something like that. She also wore a meat bikini on the cover of Vogue Japan to make a statement that she is not a piece of meat. PETA, a famously known animal activist company, released a statement saying there are more people who are upset by butchery than those who are impressed by it, referring to her dress, obviously. Do you agree with that? Up next, number 9 is Johnny Depp. He exposed himself for being intoxicated at the Hollywood Film Awards in 2014, but I'm sure his plan wasn't to get caught. He shocked everyone when he gave a very weird slurred speech while presenting the award for the Mike Myers documentary Supermensch: The Legend of Shep Gordon. But he stumbled over his own words throughout his speech. He slurred, cussed, and said things you would never expect from someone who's giving out an award. From the minute he started talking, he was stumbling and he struggled with the microphone and said that it was the weirdest microphone he's ever seen in his life. Which is weird because it was a normal microphone and it's not his first time standing in front of one. Other celebrities and fans took his speech to Twitter, saying that he should be embarrassed and that he came across as an arrogant drunk. Reports said that he had made his way to the bar before hitting the stage, which just confirmed what everyone had already figured out on their own. Obviously, either that or he snuck in a flask. I've done that. Moving on to number 8, we have Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. Their embarrassing moment wasn't their fault and it could have happened to anyone, but unfortunately they were the ones who got exposed for making a huge mistake. Everyone who has to present an award probably fears announcing the wrong winner. That is exactly what happened to them at the 2017 Oscar Awards. Apparently they were given the wrong envelope when announcing the Best Picture award and had said that La La Land was the winner. They were given the envelope that had Emma Stone winning Best Actress for La La Land, but that award was already announced, so there was a big mix-up with the envelope. The whole cast of La La Land had already gone up on stage and they were giving their speech, but then it awkwardly just got cut short and Moonlight was declared to be the real winner. Super awkward. Thanks for, imagine getting your award and you're so happy and then they literally come and take it away from you. Sorry, wrong winner. Oh, that's terrible. Sniping the number 7 spot is Kendall Jenner. She's known for her successful modeling career, so award shows might not be her specialty, but teleprompters are not always easy to follow sometimes. Trust me, I would know. I'm looking at one right now. At the 2014 Billboard Music Awards, she was called up on stage to present the band 5 Seconds of Summer. She started the introduction, which was going well, but the script seemed to throw her off. Her intro said, "The band about to rock the Billboard Awards comes from down under, but the direction they're heading is straight up."
Apparently, this made her have the band One Direction in mind, so when she started welcoming the band on the stage, she started to announce One Direction. She ended up fumbling on her words and told the audience that she is the worst reader. A brief recorded intro segment gave her a little time to collect her thoughts, and then a spotlight returned on her and she finally introduced the right band. Moving on to number 6, we have Ellen DeGeneres. In all honesty, if I was going to be exposed for anything, I would want it to be this. During the 2014 Oscars, Ellen decided to order pizza to be delivered to the venue so that she could throw a little pizza party for the front row A-list celebrities. The pizza came from Big Mama and Papa's, and the delivery guy did interviews after and confirmed that he was not an actor and he really does work at the pizza restaurant. TMZ reported that Ellen told him to collect tips, so he passed his work hat around and he came out with $300. Fans later went online wondering which celebrities actually ate some of the pizza. While some celebrities took selfies eating the pizza and posted it online, others didn't, so the fans needed to know. An official list of pizza goers was shared on Twitter and shared details of every celebrity who was offered a slice. Halfway through at number 5 is Adriana Lima. It was at the 2019 MTV VMAs when she flubbed during her speech to present an award. It was hard not to get excited when she came out to present with Super Bowl champion Victor Cruz, as both of them walked down the runway to the podium. But then things quickly got awkward when she yelled into the microphone, "What's up, New York?" Things went quiet very quickly because the VMAs took place at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. New York City is actually 12.5 miles away from there and is an entirely different state. Of course, viewers started poking fun at the model online, creating different memes and GIFs to make fun of her mistake. Even Victor Cruz, who's standing next to her, quickly made a remark saying, "Personally, I'm from Paterson, New Jersey," which actually got the crowd very excited, so they started to cheer, so that helped them move on as smoothly as possible. Taking over the spot number 4 is Christine Laddie. The last place you want to be when winning an award is the bathroom. But that is exactly what happened to the actress at the Golden Globes in 1998. Everyone's worst nightmare came true for her when she had gone for a bathroom break just as they announced her award category. She won Best Actress in a Television Series for her role in Chicago Hope, but was in the bathroom when it was announced. She was able to run up on stage once it was announced, and the first thing she could think to say was, "I was in the bathroom, Mom." In 2017, she recalled this moment and said the first thing she thought of was that her mom was going to be disappointed. She said, "That was the first thing that occurred to me, that my mom would say, 'What the hell were you doing in the bathroom? Couldn't you have gone before?'" Honestly, that is such a mom thing to say. My mom would have been so mad at me, being like, "Really?" Or at least wait until your category is at least said and then you go after. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Rolling to number 3 is Melissa McCarthy. This is another thing that I would be totally okay with if I got exposed for it. It's so fun. At the 2019 Golden Globes, the actress smuggled in 40 ham and cheese sandwiches and secretly handed them out to people throughout the night. Like she literally packed a cooler with sandwiches and ice packs. It seems like her and Ellen were on the same page. It is often said that people at the award show get hungry because dinner is served early and is before the televised program. That way they avoid any cutlery clinking sounds and whatnot during the actual broadcast. So they have to go the whole night without any food. But Melissa came up with her own idea that was cutlery free. She told Variety, "I've been handing them out to everyone. Next year I'm bringing hot dogs." The sandwiches were all plastic wrapped and came from a food market in Los Angeles. Melissa's husband later said online that they only went home with 2 sandwiches at the end of the night and that people loved them. Coming up next, number 2 is Jimmy Kimmel. You would never expect anyone to pull a prank at the Oscars, but if anyone was going to do it, it is Jimmy. Back in 2017, he pulled off an epic prank that took months to prepare for and set up, he says. The prank got mixed reviews as some people were not too impressed by it. He was hosting the award show and randomly brought a bus full of people into the Oscars. The tourists were told that they were going to see a gallery of celebrity dresses and gowns, not realizing that they were actually walking right into the Dolby Theater in the middle of the Oscars. It was super awkward to watch for a lot of people, but one man later went viral online. One of the tourists, named Gary from Chicago, had been released from jail 3 days prior after spending 20 years in jail. While some people enjoyed the prank, some people claimed that it was scripted, but Jimmy denied that and said that it was very much real. I just don't get it. What a random prank. We've made it to number 1 and we have Robin Thicke and Miley Cyrus. It's hard to forget about their performance at the 2013 VMA Awards, mainly because it was talked about for so long after the fact and even turned into memes. Their performance caused a ton of controversy. If you haven't seen it before, Miley went on stage in a skin-colored two-piece and twerked on Robin while holding and licking a giant foam finger. That's my girl. That is the gist of it, but honestly that is just a little piece of the whole performance. People came after Miley right away for her outfit, her singing, and dancing on Robin like that, who was a married man. But Miley was quick to talk about it in interviews afterwards, saying that Robin was also in the rehearsals with her and that he, the married man, had no problem with the twerking and choreography. But of course, she took the heat for it. Not surprised. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Cardi B. She exposed herself on this one when she decided to get into a fight at the 2018 New York Fashion Week party. It's not technically an award show, it was a Harper Bazaar Icons party, but this story is honestly just too good not to include. Video clips and pictures started going viral online after a fight started between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and ended with Cardi throwing her red heels at Nicki. Bodyguards were holding them back and it was pure chaos, not to mention very strange seeing them have this like petty altercation while wearing beautiful gowns and high heels. We later found out why they were fighting when Cardi posted about it on social media and said that Nicki brought up her parenting and that was when she lost it. Apparently Nicki made comments about her as a mother and things just happened to heat up when she confronted her about it at the party. Time and place, ladies, for an altercation. Time and place. In spot number 9, we have Joe Jonas. He was hoping for a badass entrance instead of an embarrassing moment during his performance at the AMA Awards in 2007. What sucked the most was that his accident happened at the very beginning of the performance, so he just had to shake it off and continue. What happened was the performance started with 3 glass panels in front of each of the Jonas Brothers, and then they shattered in front of them before they made their entrance onto the stage. But Joe tripped as he crossed the threshold and fell to the ground and cut his hand on broken glass. He got up quickly and continued on with his performance despite visibly bleeding from the gash on the palm of his hand. When asked about it backstage, he just shrugged it off and said, "It is just a little blood. Look like you need stitches, bro, but that's alright." Moving on to number 8, we have Faith Hill. This incident had fans baffled at first because people were confused and shocked with her reaction at the Country Music Awards in 2006. The winner was announced for the Female Vocalist of the Year, and Faith Hill was one of the nominees amongst other singers, including Carrie Underwood. When their winner was announced, Carrie had won, and the camera showed Faith's reaction to her win, and she was angry. She screamed, "What?" and stormed away, and of course people reacted to her reaction. It looked like she was freaking out over the loss, but then she later came back and said that it was a joke. She said, "The idea that I would act disrespectful towards a fellow musician is unimaginable to me. Carrie is a talented and deserving Female Vocalist of the Year." I don't get the joke. Why would you do that? It like ruined the moment because I was watching your reaction instead of Carrie's. Anyways, okay, funny joke, Faith. Nightmare number 7 spot is Beyonce. She's definitely not to blame for this one, as we all know accidents can happen during a live performance. Malfunctions happen all the time, and hers just so happened at the MTV European Music Awards back in 2003. What is an artist supposed to do when their backtrack starts going crazy? It was during her performance of Baby Boy when her backtrack started skipping and kept repeating one line over and over again. The line was, "Baby boy, you are so damn fine." At first, she kept her performance going while trying to like sing over the soundtrack, but eventually she just gave up. As it clearly was not going in her favor. She ended up just waving to the audience and walking off stage. I would have done the same. I mean, when your track is skipping, like, no one's gonna hear what you're singing at that point. Rolling into number 6 is Miguel. I don't think I've ever heard of an award show performance ending as a lawsuit, but that is what happened back in 2013 at the Billboard Music Awards. Miguel was performing and went to jump off the stage onto another platform, but he accidentally landed on a woman's face who was standing in the crowd. He actually landed on 2 people in the video, but like one person very visibly took the brunt of the fall. Of course, it was not intentional, but the fans sued him afterwards because she was injured. 2 years later, in 2015, he was facing a lawsuit for negligence. The lawsuit claimed that the victim faced injuries, medical expenses, loss of wages, possible future medical expenses, loss of personal property, and loss of enjoyment of life. The lawsuit was worth $10,000, but there has not been any articles since 2015 stating whatever happened in the end. I really did try to find it. Miguel was very apologetic for the accident and also incredibly embarrassed. I wonder if he paid. He probably just paid. I was like, take your money, sorry about your face. Goodbye. Halfway through our list at number 5 is the Pussycat Dolls. It's hard to imagine them having a bad performance because they are always on point with their vocals and choreography. But one performance stands out more than the rest, and that's because it did not go as planned. It was at the 2006 AMAs when they had a very strange performance of their song Buttons. At one point, one of the chairs they had in the choreography fell over halfway through the performance. But the more bizarre part was when one of the dolls showed up on stage with only 40 seconds left in the song, and then from there, things just got weird very fast. She came into the song and started singing over Nicole, the lead singer, in this off-pitch, very high tune, while the other girls just continued their choreography, which she wasn't a part of because she's late and showed up with 40 seconds left. Honestly, I watched the clip, I've never seen it before, and it was the most awkward performance I've ever seen. People watching at home were obviously very confused and wondered why she even showed up to the performance with only 40 seconds left. Just let them continue their choreography and song, they were killing it. It was so weird, so weird. In spot number 4, we have J-Lo. She exposed herself during one of her performances, but it definitely was not planned. Back in 2009, she took a fall during her performance at the AMAs while she was attempting this little mini stunt. Her choreography had her climb up the other dancers as human stairs, and then when she reached the top, she jumped off really high into the air, not expecting to land on her butt. The good news is J-Lo is a pro and she shook it off like it didn't even happen. She jumped up immediately after falling down and she was able to finish her performance, which was a knockout, by the way. It looked painful, not gonna lie, but it was a quick mishap that she handled like a champ. Taking over the 3rd spot is Sam Smith. His embarrassing fail was one big misunderstanding, but people didn't know that until after it had already happened. At the 2016 Oscars, he was accepting the award for Best Original Song, and during his speech he implied that he was the first openly gay man to win an Oscar. He said he was referring to a quote from Ian McKellen, but McKellen had been responding to a question about openly gay actors. So when Sam Smith was apparently quoting him, it sounded like he was saying that he was the first openly gay man to win an award. But people quickly said men like Elton John and many other people paved the way for him in the industry. Turns out though that is not what Sam was trying to say, and he made sure to clear that up, but people were already judging him by that point, thinking that's what he meant. Taking over the number 2 spot is Angelina Jolie. This is by far the weirdest award show moment of all time, and many people, including myself, are still very confused by it. Angelina both shocked and confused people in 2000 when she attended the Oscar Awards and kissed her brother on the lips on the red carpet. Not like a quick kiss, like when you're greeting someone, you're like a quick little thing. No, it was like this big, romantic looking, strange kiss. She had won the award for Best Supporting Actress that night, and in her acceptance speech, she gave thanks to her brother, who she claimed to be in love with. She said, "I'm in shock and I'm so in love with my brother right now. He just held me and said he loved me and I know he's happy for me and thank you for that." Then later in the evening she posed for photographers with her award in hand and her brother by her side, and that is when they shared this kiss on the lips. Obviously, the media was going crazy about it, but when she was asked about it, she said it was nothing more than brotherly love and that her parents loved the picture of them kissing. This is so weird to me, y'all. And our number 1 spot is Nicki Minaj. While she exposed herself at the same time, she was actually trying to expose Miley Cyrus when she called her out in front of everyone at the 2015 VMAs. Celebrity drama happens all the time, so that's no surprise, but to start an argument during the middle of an award show is really not the time or place. Miley was hosting the show and found herself in a scandal right in the middle of her hosting gig. Nicki was accepting the award for Best Hip Hop Video for Anaconda, and while giving her speech, she looked across the room to the other stage that Miley was on and said, "And now back to this bitch that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley was good." The whole room went silent immediately, and it was super uncomfortable to watch. Miley herself looked totally shocked, and she tried to quickly recover just by saying the media often twist their words. The two of them later worked it out off stage, but the award show was a hella awkward.
In at number 10, Sofia Vergara. While the Television Academy chairman Bruce Rosenblum was giving a speech at the 2014 Emmys, he directed actress Sofia Vergara to stand on a revolving pedestal. At first it was somewhat of a funny joke, but then Sofia stood on the pedestal and posed, while Rosenblum went on to give a speech that probably nobody paid attention to. After the speech, the whole debacle got tons of criticism. It seemed like somewhat of a joke or justification around the sex sells mentality that we see in advertisements a lot of the time, and feminists and other women's rights groups didn't think it was funny. Vergara commented that she didn't understand the criticism and she didn't think it was demeaning, rather it showed you can be hot and make fun of yourself. In at number 9, missing Oscars. This incident is something that could have been turned into a major disaster for the Academy, but thankfully the crisis was narrowly avoided. Only weeks before the 2000 Academy Awards, 55 Oscars trophies were stolen from a loading dock. The Academy rushed to replace the missing trophies in time for the show, but thankfully a man named Willie found 52 of them while rummaging through a dumpster behind a convenience store in LA. He was given a $50,000 reward for finding them, as well as 2 tickets to the show. The real thieves claimed that they chickened out and that's why they dumped them. And even though they were found, the Academy still gave the stars new trophies anyway. And at number 8, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was known as the lovable star of hits like The Mummy and Georgia of the Jungle, and although he's in and out of the business every few years, he made headlines in 2010 for a strange reason. While he was at the Golden Globe Awards, the camera zoomed in on Brendan while the crowd was watching a speech, and it caught what I think was a clap, but didn't really look like one. The strange clapping motion has been memed ever since, with everyone trying to figure out what he was doing with his hands. After the fact, Brendan explained that when the red light came on, he just didn't know what to do and kinda spazzed out. Thankfully, he was a really good sport about it. And at number 7, Miley Cyrus and Robin Thicke's performance. This performance was truly shocking, even for today's standards. Just seeing some of the celebrities' faces in the audience made it all worth it. At the 2013 MTV VMAs, a scantily clad Miley Cyrus and Robin Thicke gave a performance that everyone would try to forget. During the performance, Miley danced around, twerked on Robin, and stuck her tongue out an obscene amount of times, all while wearing latex lingerie. After the performance, she defended her decision, saying it was a liberating moment. However, years later, she told Harper's Bazaar that she felt somewhat pressured into the raunchy performance, because she'd become known for that side of her, and felt she would bore fans if she was more conservative. And at number 6, Tiffany Haddish. This one is honestly hilarious, because not only does Tiffany Haddish not know how to pronounce Camila Cabello's name, she also took the time to shade her former girl group, Fifth Harmony. This went down while Tiffany and Kevin Hart were hosting the 2018 VMAs. When Haddish went to introduce Camila, she called her Camille Cabello, joking that she only knows how to speak English. After the awkward name situation, Tiffany did put some respect on Camila's name and called out her former girl group, adding, quote, "Those of you watching at home, hi Fifth Harmony." And crazy enough, at the time, Fifth Harmony stands were outraged at the comments and cancelled Haddish online. Halfway at number 5, Fiji Water Girl. At the 2019 Golden Globes, one woman stole the show, and that was the Fiji Water Girl. Somehow this model that was on the carpet to give away Fiji water managed to photobomb countless photos with the biggest celebrities in the world. The Fiji Water Girl was seen in the back of photos with Amy Adams, Richard Madden, and Nicole Kidman. After the event, she seemed to be the person that everyone was talking about. She went so viral that E! News actually awarded her with the award for, quote, Best Supporting Actress on a Red Carpet. Her acceptance speech was hilarious, saying, quote, "I'd like to thank water. If these celebrities weren't so thirsty, I wouldn't have been able to serve the way that I did. My performance would have been truly not possible without you." And at number 4, Adrien Brody. Adrien Brody made history as the youngest man to win an Oscar for an actor in a leading role in 2003 when he won for The Pianist. After his name was announced as the winner, he was truly speechless, smiling from ear to ear. He then ran up on stage to greet Halle Berry, the presenter, and instead of a hug, which is, customary, Brody planted a long and passionate kiss on Berry. Everyone in the audience laughed at the awkward but passionate moment, and for the longest time it was remembered as a sweet moment. That was until Berry was asked about the kiss in a 2017 interview with Andy Cohen, where she said the kiss was not planned, and the whole time she was just asking herself what the F was happening. It was clear by her expressions that she did not approve of the kiss. And at number 3, Rami Malek. After Rami Malek played Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, the world was in awe. He was rightfully nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor at the 2019 Oscars, and even ended up winning. After he gave his touching speech, the cameras cut off and went to commercial break, nothing special. However, something ended up happening after the cameras cut that was not caught on video. After Rami won, he decided to jump down from the stage and actually fell. Even though he seemed fine, the paramedics still came out and took a look at him just in case. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt and was able to party on the rest of the night. And at number 2, John Travolta. This is unfortunately the second blunder in this series by John Travolta. They should probably just stop letting him, present from now on. When John Travolta was tasked with presenting an award to Taylor Swift for her music video You Need to Calm Down, he almost made a huge mistake. After he announced the award at the 2019 MTV VMAs, Taylor along with the cast of the video came up on stage, and it looked like Travolta tried to give the award to a Taylor lookalike that starred in the video instead of Taylor herself. Thankfully, the lookalike did not take the award, so Travolta realized that he was making a mistake and waited for Taylor to come over. He talked about the mix-up after and said he simply thought the person was Taylor, but at the end of the day it was a lookalike, so it's not crazy to think that there could have been a mix-up. And finally at number 1, Michael Jackson. This one is definitely the most awkward on this list. Even though nothing actually bad happened with this one, it's just one of those moments where somebody probably should have stepped in to stop it, but it was just probably too late. At the 2002 MTV Awards, the award show decided to do something nice for Michael Jackson and give him a special surprise for his birthday. Britney Spears presented him with an award for the birthday celebration, which is probably the reason things got so miscommunicated. During her opening, Britney called Jackson the quote artist of the millennium, clearly as a compliment. But Jackson took it too far, and when he came up on stage he thanked the award show for awarding him with the Artist of the Millennium Award, when in fact no such award existed. The crowd was very confused but went along with it anyway. I mean, what were they gonna do? After the MTV Awards finished, a spokesperson for the channel called the whole thing a misunderstanding, saying quote, "There is no such award as the Artist of the Millennium. I think some wires got crossed." Oops.
Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Mariah Carey. Back in 2010 at the Palm Springs International Film Festival, she won the award for her role in Precious. She played a social worker and was receiving the award for Breakthrough Actress. She tried to accept her award graciously, but that seemed difficult for her since she had one too many drinks. You could tell she was tipsy the minute she started talking, and the worst part was she was up there with the director of the movie, who just did not seem impressed at all. Mariah ended up apologizing in her speech, saying that it was all the splashes of champagne she had on an empty stomach. She did the best she could as she slurred her way through the speech. Rookie mistake though for drinking on an empty stomach. Like, that is rule number 1 in any drinking guide. Like, always eat, especially on one of the most important nights of your life. Moving on to number 9, we have Eminem. He has made a lot of headlines throughout his career, but this one was weird for everyone. In 2002, he made headlines that read, "Slim Shady fights a puppet." It was at the VMA Awards when the puppet, called Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, started making jokes at him about his feud with the techno artist Moby. Now, the man behind the puppet is comedy writer Robert Smigel, who was just doing his job insulting celebrities in a joking manner. But Eminem was not having the little skit, and he shoved the puppet out of his way, and then one of his friends grabbed Robert's notes and just tossed toss them into the air. Robert and his puppet were later asked about it during a press conference, and he said, "Try to be easy on Eminem. At the end of the day, he is just another white guy trying to make an honest living, stealing black people's music." Who knew a puppet could cause so much drama and make something that was supposed to be funny into something so serious? Although I can't even imagine Eminem tolerating some sort of insulting puppet. I just can't see him having the patience for that. Cruising into number 8, we have Natalie Portman. Throughout the years, many women in Hollywood have used award shows as an opportunity to call out the inequality within the industry between men and women. Oprah Winfrey did just that at the 2018 Golden Globe Awards, and many actresses have followed suit ever since then. So Natalie Portman thought she would do just that, but the timing for it didn't seem to be the best choice. Most people use their acceptance speech to talk about that, but she brought it up during the presentation of another award. She was on stage with director Ron Howard by her side, and it was their job to have a little conversation before announcing the winner for the Best Director category. Natalie used the opportunity to fake excitement over the fact that all the nominees in the category were men and not women. While her intentions were good, the timing was just super uncomfortable as the male director just awkwardly stood beside her and they presented the award to another male director. It was super awkward. Next up at number 7, we have Bob Dylan. Let me start off by saying this was no way his fault and he had no control over the situation. It was just bad luck that it happened during his performance. His career was not destroyed, but his performance definitely was. And the person to blame for that is a man named Michael Portnoy. He was a New York-based performance artist who jumped on stage during Bob Dylan's performance at the 1998 Grammy Awards. The musician was performing Lovesick with his band, and Michael removed his shirt and ran up on stage and began dancing with the words "soy bomb" painted on his bare chest. He began dancing in this very strange, robotic, contorted manner with his eyes closed, and he later said he used the words on his chest because soy represents dense nutritional life and he wanted art to represent dance, transformation, explosive life. His words, not mine. He was on stage for a total of 35 seconds before being removed by security. Bob Dylan stayed professional though, and he just kept playing as if the man was not right next to him. So props to him, handled it like a champ, but yeah, the performance was definitely, not great. Rolling into spot number 6, we have Nicole Kidman. One of the best parts about award shows is the camera capturing the reactions of audience members. We love to see how people react to other winners or how the losers in the category react to the loss. But sometimes these cameras capture the strangest reactions, and Nicole Kidman's is one of them. It was in 2017 that she made weird headlines after going to the Oscars. The headlines were talking about her very strange clap, which they said looked like a seal clapping. As she sat in the audience next to her husband Keith Urban, she stood up from her chair and started clapping at those who were standing on stage receiving their awards. Bless her heart. That's a normal thing and a very kind thing, but when the camera panned to her and showed the world how she was clapping, it is all Twitter could talk about. Her fingers were pointed out to the side, like away from each other like this, and then when she was clapping, her hands didn't actually touch, so it looked like this. Nicole later said it was because she was wearing a huge ring that was not hers and she did not want to damage it. Halfway through our list at number 5, we have Winona Ryder. Speaking of weird reactions getting caught on camera, Winona is just another person who was caught acting a little bit strange. I can just imagine though what facial expressions like they would capture of me, so I'm in no position to judge. Her reaction was highly talked about at the 2017 SAG Awards. She had joined the cast of Stranger Things on stage to accept the award for outstanding performance by an ensemble in a drama series. When they all made their way to the stage, actor David Harbour was giving the speech and her reaction to it was hilarious. Her expressions went from confusion to disgust to fear to joy and then back to confusion. It was hard to focus on the man giving the speech because her roller coaster of emotions was just so much more fun to watch. Cruising into spot number 4, we have Marlon Brando. This one caused a huge controversy so your opinion might differ from someone else's. At the 1973 Oscar Awards, apparently he wasn't interested in accepting the award for his movie The Godfather. So instead of him going up and accepting his award, he sent Sacheen Littlefeather, a 26-year-old Native American activist and aspiring actress. She didn't quite give an acceptance speech though, it was actually quite the opposite. She read excerpts from a letter that was prepared by Marlon rejecting the award because of the treatment of American Indians today by the film industry. As she was reading, the audience gave her mixed emotions, with some people booing and some people applauding. A lot of people were just very confused as to why he would reject an Oscars award, and if he was going to do that, then they said that he should be the one to do so. Let me know what you guys think about this, because I'm actually curious on, your opinion. Making their way into number 3 is Frank Capra. The Academy Awards is probably a time when you want to use last names when presenting an award, especially when you're using a common name like Frank. An incredibly awkward and embarrassing moment happened to Frank Capra in 1934 when he thought he had won an award that he actually didn't. Will Rogers presented the Best Director award by saying, "Come up and get it, Frank." Frank Capra was nominated for Lady for a Day and just assumed that he meant it was him who won the award, so he started walking towards the stage. But the award was actually for Frank Lloyd. Frank Capra actually talked about this moment in his memoir, describing the very painful moment of returning to his seat, and he called it the longest, saddest, most shattering walk of shame in his life. That is the ultimate walk of shame. There's no recovering from that. Up next, number 2, we have Taylor Swift. Don't worry, Frank, you are not the only one who thought an award was for them when it wasn't. Taylor Swift also got ahead of herself at the 2014 Grammy Awards. She was one of the nominees for the Best Album category, and her album Red was the center of attention, so she probably felt that she had a very good chance of winning. As Alicia Keys read out the winner, the name of the album began with an R, so Taylor and her team thought they won the award and immediately just started celebrating. It was super awkward because the camera captured them celebrating right away, but then they quickly realized that it actually was not her album at all, and they did not actually win the award. It just started with an R, and they got ahead of themselves. In our number 1 spot is Robert Opel. I don't think anything ruins a career as much as streaking does. That is right, this activist ran on stage naked in 1974 at the Oscar Awards. That takes some guts to say the least. The Oscar host David Niven was on stage and he was trying to introduce someone, and people in the audience just randomly started screaming in shock. Robert ran on stage naked right behind David, flashing the peace sign. It was a moment that went down in history, but how David handled it was actually everyone's favorite part. After the streaking moment was over, David said to the crowd, "The only laugh that man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings." He deserves an award just for how he handled that situation.